As the days of Noah were, so also the coming of the Son of Man will be. And this right here is a huge sign that we are living in those days. Humans using genetic modification to bring back the direwolf, where we have Colossal, a genetics startup, has birthed 3 pups that contain ancient DNA retrieved from the remains of the animal's extinct ancestors. And as we read from this article from Time magazine, it chose to name these 2 puppies Romulus and Remus, which of course, like everything else in this demonic world system, goes back to Roman mythology, where we have in Roman mythology Romulus and Remus are twin brothers whose story tells the events that lead to the founding of the city of Rome. And go figure, we have Mr. False Prophet himself posting this today on X, where you have the Time magazine cover of the direwolf and also the 2 puppies sitting on a throne from Game of Thrones. Of course, by now we know his obsession with the Roman Empire with his quote, "I think about the Roman Empire every day," and how he has posted several times about the Roman Republic. For those who do not know, SPQR stands for the Senate and the Roman people. As we also see how he calls America the New Rome, and who could forget about his Roman salute? I also can't forget to mention the obsession with them trying to make Trump into some type of Caesar. And as we know prophetically, the fourth and final kingdom on this earth until Jesus comes back and rules and reigns down here is the Roman Empire. As we see in Daniel chapter 2 with the vision of the statue of different metals, where the head was of fine gold, which represents Babylon, its chest and arms of silver, which represents Medo-Persia, its belly and thighs of bronze, which represents Greece, and its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay, is the Roman Empire. And this idea of the Roman Empire being the legs of iron is shown through history, where the Roman Empire split into 2. You had the western leg and then the eastern leg. And also this idea that it is of iron and partly of clay shows that it does not always mix perfectly. And as we have seen historically, there has been different revolts within the Roman Empire, divisions and whatnot. Now, not to mention this part right here, where you see a stone was cut out without hands, which is Jesus, which struck the image on its feet of iron and clay and broke them in pieces, which is representing the idea when Jesus comes back, he is going to destroy the fourth and final kingdom, the fourth and final beast, which is the Roman Empire. Now, a little side note, the Roman Empire also having the 2 legs, which also equals 10 toes. Those 10 toes are the 10 kings of the book of Revelation, which is also found in Daniel chapter 7 with the 10 horns, which are 10 kings. So understanding that the Roman Empire is the fourth and final kingdom, where the Antichrist, the son of perdition, the man of lawlessness, the little horn, will use to rule and reign down here, makes you wonder what's going on spiritually with stuff like this. And again, the obsession with trying to make America the new Rome. Now, with that being said, seeing stuff like this right here, where they use names from Roman mythology to name these 2 dire wolves that have been resurrected through genetic modification, which makes me think that this is extremely symbolic of the idea of the Roman Empire being resurrected. And not to mention that them messing with the DNA of animals goes back to the days of Noah. And as we have right here in Matthew 24, the warning, but as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. You may be wondering, how does this have anything to do with the days of Noah? Well, the days of Noah were where the sons of God, the B'nai Elohim, saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, of whom they choose. Now, these sons of God were fallen angels. They rebelled. They came down to then mate with these daughters of men, because there were giants on the earth in those days. And also afterward, when the sons of God, the B'nai Elohim, these are angelic entities, came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. For those who disagree with this interpretation of Genesis 6, having angels mating with women to then produce the Nephilim, the giants, Jude 1 would disagree with you. And the angels, the B'nai Elohim, the sons of God, who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode, as we see right here, they saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they came down to take them as wives. They are now reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. So now we have that idea right here, the angels rebelling, leaving their own abode. to come and mate with the daughters of men of Genesis chapter 6. We also have this right here. So again, this goes with this, as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in a similar manner, okay? Similar. Okay, what's similar here? To those having given themselves over to sexual immorality and gone after strange flesh. So do you notice right here how Jude is comparing what the angels did in Genesis 6 to what's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah in a similar manner over sexual immorality and strange flesh, clearly comparing these two situations right here to going after strange flesh. Now, for those who want to disagree and argue that angels do not marry or give in marriage, that is correct. In their angelic form, not in the human form, they do not do that. But they rebelled, they sinned, they came down and took flesh, as we actually see with the story of Sodom and Gomorrah when God sends after the angels to go save Lot. They are in human form, where then the inhabitants of Sodom wanted to do strange things to them. And not to mention, these same angels, when they came to eat with Abraham, were in a physical form and they were eating physical food. So that is why this is such a big deal right here in Genesis 6, because angels are not meant to marry or give in marriage. But these ones fell, they rebelled, and they sinned. And this contamination and mixing of angelic DNA with human DNA produced giants, or the Nephilim. So this right here is as the days of Noah. Just like there was genetic manipulation going on in the days of Noah, we are seeing that happen right now. So in my own personal opinion, I believe this right here is a huge sign of the times that we are in, and how completely, unbelievably symbolic and spiritual it is that they would name the two wolves that come from this genetic altering after Roman mythology of the birth or the formation of Rome. Now, you may be wondering, what's the big deal with genetic manipulation? Well, going back to Genesis 6, the enemy was trying to stop the first prophecy ever told, which is Genesis 3, verse 15, that from the seed of the woman would then come the Messiah, who would then crush the head of the serpent. And the key there with that prophecy is that the Savior of the world, the Redeemer, would come from the seed of the woman. So the enemy, seeing that, knowing that prophecy, they then try to mate with the daughters of men, with women, to try to stop that prophecy. And likewise, right now, I believe, my own personal opinion, the mark of the beast in the future will have something to do with mixing with your DNA or altering your DNA to then not make you human anymore. Therefore, you will be unredeemable for those who do take the mark of the beast, which, in my own studies and personal opinion, I think it will have something to do with the biodigital convergence, mixing man with AI and machine, with all of that technology. But again, that is for another video. But with this all being said, the timing is impeccable that they are showing to us this news of these two wolves named after Roman mythology about the formation of Rome, and how they are now bringing back old species. So again, they are just messing with things that they should not mess with, but there is a spiritual agenda at play. And for us who have eyes to see and ears to hear, we can see the writing on the wall. We know what time it is. So therefore, we continue to look up, realizing that our redemption draws near, and we use this information as urgency to draw closer to the Lord and share the gospel with others. With that, I love you all so much. God bless. Remember, the just shall live by faith.